This session we're going to talk about cylinder base gaskets and some new technology. Well, it's been stuff we've been using for quite a while, but we want to inform you of it. Cylinder base gaskets are a bit of a, cylinder bases are a bit of an issue with Indians leaking. Sometimes you've got mismatched cases, sometimes they actually, none of the originals are flat across. Let's go over here, look at an engine. None of them are flat. There's actually a big hollow spot in here. This one here, whenever we do an engine build, we actually redeck all the surfaces through here, so it is all true, but typically there's a low spot that develops through here, and you get gasket weepage. Gasket leaks from the oil. Another little downside is there's not much material between here and the cylinder. So this area here, there's a lot of compression forces on the gasket, which is this area here, and it tends to mush out. So you can actually see through here, there's not much gasket material. You've got a lot of forces, a lot of pressure being applied to this small area around here. So what we worked with James quite some years ago is come up with some advanced gaskets. It's a steel core gasket, rubber coated. It's got a red elastomer beading for better sealability. It's actually a very rigid gasket, but it's got a lot of compliability because of the material that's on it. You need to have a rigid gasket. This one here is the standard composite gasket. You really need to have a rigid gasket in this application because we've got the Indian engine's a flathead design or a side valve, so the valves are in the cylinder. So with the composite gaskets, they tend to squish down, so you've got to do some retorquing. The retorquing alters the valve clearance, so therefore you've got to do regular valve clearances. But with the composite gasket, the metal core and the coatings on it, it's going to cinch down, and it's pretty well going to stay there. You might have to do one little touch up later, but actually they move very little. And this gasket will take up all the most of the irregularities in the conventional issues you have with the cases, the distortion. The cylinder base torque is 35 foot-pounds. It's hard to get, well, you're not going to get a torque wrench in there, but basically it's very tight. We do this all the time, so we go by feel. We know what that 35 foot-pounds is, but it's got to be tight. But the James gasket is the best thing you can do for this application. Now, when you torque down the bolts or the nuts, go crisscross. Just cinch them down a little bit at a time. Don't get on one, cinch it all the way down, because you'll break the ear off the cylinder, and that'll be a real bad day for you. So just cinch it, go crisscross, cinch a little bit here, go across here in a star pattern, come back a little bit more, and just pull this whole cylinder base down nice and evenly.